Good morning and welcome to Temple Buddhist Center Sunday Meditation Service. My name is Dave and I'm honored to be of service this morning. We hope that our service finds you happy and healthy, but please know that if you're struggling, we hope that Temple Buddhist Center can be a source of refuge for you as we open our hearts to you and your loved ones. Let's begin this morning with a few conscious breaths, taking a few moments to ground, to experience the body, and to breathe together. Conscious breathing is where you seal the mouth, breathe deeply through the nose, and then pause for a moment before releasing slowly so the exhale is longer than the inhale. Let's begin. Breathing in, pausing just a moment, feeling the fullness of the lungs, and releasing slowly. And as you release, checking in with the body, just being aware of what is present and alive in the body right now. And a second conscious breath. Pausing just a moment, ventilating this precious human form, and releasing slowly. As you release, see if you can release any worry or concerns from the week. All the energy of doing, going, striving, accomplishing. Just allow yourself a few moments to cultivate the energy of being, not doing. And a third conscious breath together. And releasing slowly. And as you release, taking time to invite into your awareness the present moment, fully arriving in the here and now. Here at Temple Buddhist Center, we like to begin the service with a chant. Chanting is an integral part of every tradition, and it's not about being a singer, it's about having a voice. And I will let Victor explain our chant this morning.
Thank you very much, Dave. So our chant this morning is Dana Vad Kritanya Hum. Dana Vad Kritanya Hum. And this is a chant in the Sanskrit tradition of gratitude. Dana Vad means I feel gratitude, and Kritanya Hum means I am gratitude. And it's important to understand that the gratitude is for even just this moment. Maybe it's just for this breath. So there's an immediacy to the gratitude. Perhaps even just this opportunity to come together in sacred Sangha, both near and far. All of those members of our Sangha that are joining us from around the world. And so, with that, let's begin with a conscious breath together. And let's begin. Dana Vad Kritanya Hum. 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 With a smile. Dana Vad Kritanya Hum. Dana Vad Kritanya Hum. Dhanavad Kritanyaham. Once more. Dhanavad Kritanyaham.
Here at TBC, we practice Western Buddhism. This is a blend of Eastern philosophy and Western psychology. This new and exciting form of spirituality is dynamic, inclusive, active, and focuses on core Buddhist insights, mindfulness, meditation, and their practical application in our daily life. Our goal here isn't to get everyone to agree on one lineage or philosophy. Rather, it's on cultivating a shared experience of mindfulness, oneness, and love. Whether we are chanting, meditating, or sharing from the heart, we respect that you will participate only at the level that feels comfortable for you. We take refuge in the three jewels and acknowledge these core values as expressions of the awakened mind: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We value awareness of our own Buddha nature, as well as the Buddha nature of all beings, allowing a new perspective of this and every precious moment. The second jewel is the Dharma, the truth teachings that release us from fear and delusion and help us realize the true nature of who we are. And Sangha, our spiritual community, an essential part of growth where we practice the teachings together and support each other along every step of the path. Let's take a moment now to silence any electronic devices and to prepare a meditative environment. And we'll now recite the prayer of refuge. We'll recite this together 3 times. Together. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. As we enter a time of meditation, if you have an extensive practice, then I invite you to practice in a way that's fitting for you this morning. If you're new to meditation, then I invite you to just follow along with an open mind as Victor explains how we're going to do our meditation today.
So, as many of you know, we're doing a 2-part series on Earth Day. Last week we had our tabling event, and today, of course, is our tree giveaway. And so, in honor of Earth Day, we're having a special service today. So what's going to happen for today, it's a little bit different. So those of you who've been coming, this will be a little bit different. For those of you that perhaps are new, this isn't exactly how we do our services. But today is going to be a guided meditation. So I want to start with our normal meditation. So we'll sit for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, somewhere right there, and just in noble silence, just connecting, grounding, centering, releasing. And then from there, I'm going to move us into the Dharma talk itself is a guided meditation today. So we're in for the long haul today. I think everyone will receive extra points towards nirvana today for the extra long meditation. And so I want to talk a little bit about some more of the things that are happening today. Traditionally, on Earth Day Sunday, the Temple Green team, it leads the service. And so over the past few years, they've always done this, and today is no different. Today we're going to have special music by Matt, who is on our Temple Green team, and Rochelle, and that music's going to come at the end of the Dharma talk or the guided meditation. In other words, that's what's going to kind of gently, lovingly, and appropriately bring us out of our meditation. And so the meditation today is going to begin with what we would be a normal meditation for us, time in noble silence. And then I'm going to begin with kind of a short, let's call it a self-love portion of this to begin with. I want to make sure that you are grounded, centered, connected. There's positivity and love and expansion in your heart. And I will then from there take us into the elemental meditation. So let me tell you a little bit about that before we begin. I first learned the reflection on the 6 elements. In the Buddhist practice, there are 6 elements. I learned this about 12, 13 years ago while I was on a 7-day silent meditation retreat. And it more often has brought an incredible sense of lightness, freedom, and expansiveness, as well as a greater sense of connection to the world. The 6-element practice is a profound contemplation on interconnectedness, impermanence, and insubstantiality. It is one of the most significant insight practices in the Pali Canon, which were the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha recommended the elemental meditation as a way of not neglecting wisdom. And it was taught as a technique for developing equanimity and cultivating meditative absorption. Now, the 6-element practice, in this practice, we contemplate in turn earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness, noting how each element is an ever-changing process rather than a static thing. One of the most striking features of this practice is the thorough way in which this meditation deconstructs our experience. By contemplating every aspect of our physical and mental being, we begin to understand its true nature. In classic insight meditation, we notice the impermanence and insubstantiality of sensations, thoughts, feelings. We do that in this practice too, but we also develop a literally visceral sense of the body's impermanence and insubstantiality by contemplating the various processes by which its elements come into being and pass away. The 6-element practice brings us into contact with the reality of our interconnectedness with the world. It is experiential. It focuses on our present moment experience, and it is imaginative in how it encourages us to envision ourselves as a part of a wider process of change, of flow. And so With that, I would invite you to go ahead and prepare the form, prepare the body. And we will take a few moments. We will begin with the dedication of intention as usual. We will awaken the bell 3 times for the 3 jewels. We will move into our standard meditation practice. We will spend time grounding, centering, releasing, and just being connected with the present moment. And we'll spend, like I said, a little bit of time in noble silence, and then I will gently begin to take us into the 6-element meditation. And so, if you are game, if your heart is open, I do this with tremendous love and care for the community, and I believe that it is something that you can take with you today, and indeed can begin this practice on your own, moving through the elements. So let's go ahead and begin with our dedication of intention. Body, speech, and mind, in perfect oneness, I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness, transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow, and realize the true nature of who they are. And so as the sound of the its natural rhythm, we can bring our awareness to awareness itself. Simply noticing ever so lightly whenever the mind is distracted by a sound, perhaps in the hallway or in the room. Noticing when the mind is distracted by a sensation within the body, like an itch or an ache, or perhaps even a tummy rumble. And noticing when the mind becomes distracted by a thought, or even a string of thoughts. You see, all these things come and they go. They simply rise and they fall. Our practice is to cultivate that vast, pure openness, that open space in which all these things appear and disappear. Our practice is to cultivate the knower, not the things that are known. And so, connected to the breath, the body is spacious, light, easy. The mind is clear and the heart is open, we can move more deeply into our meditation. I close my eyes and I see clearly. I stop trying to listen and I hear truth. I am silent, yet my heart sings. I seek no contact and find union. I am still and move forward. I am gentle and need no strength. I am humble and remain whole, returning again and again to the breath, returning again and again home. So I invite you to remain in a meditative state, connected with the breath. And I invite you now to drop down and contact your heart, to just sense in this moment how you are feeling. And I want to encourage a sense of acceptance. Acceptance for whatever is going on in your life, acceptance for whatever is going on with this precious human form, whatever feelings or emotions may be coming and going. Compassion for life situations. And you might even repeat a phrase or two to yourself, like, for example, may I be well. May I be happy. May I be at peace. Holding this for yourself. Bringing loving kindness for yourself. As we purify fear, greed, hatred, and delusion, we become a beacon, a light for the world. But we can only do this with love, and the love begins with this form, in this heart. And that's how it connects to all the others. Bringing a sense of ease, joy, kindness, and gentleness to this form that has been given our name, that has accrued the various experiences over the years. And just holding this space for ourselves. And so from here, we can begin the reflection on the 6 elements. First, we call to mind the earth element within ourselves. The earth element is everything solid, resistant, everything that gives us form. Notice first of all those aspects of the body that you can directly experience, the physical presence, the weight of the body, the density of the form, the feeling of the sitting bones pressing onto the chair or the cushion, the hands resting on the lap or folded together, the knees, feeling your feet inside your socks and shoes, touching the floor, the teeth. Simply notice these experiences of solidness. Besides noticing our immediate sensations, we can enter into an imaginative exploration of the whole body. Even though we cannot experience all these objects directly, we can imagine certain aspects of the body, calling to mind, for example, the bone marrow, the kidneys, the heart, the liver, the diaphragm, and every conceivable solid matter within the body. It's not so much a list or an inventory of anatomy, but we can think more in terms of visualizing the solidity of the body, the various organs, and simply knowing that they are there and that they are composed of solid matter. Now, having reflected on the earth element within that makes up this precious human body, now we may call to mind the earth element externally. Everything that is solid and resistant outside of ourselves, starting with the floor, the chair, the cushion that we are seated on, expanding outward now to recall the building, perhaps the vehicles that brought us here, the roads, the trees, rocks, pebbles, soil, the mountains, plants, fields of crops. Again, we do not have to try to create a train of thought, but simply allow memories, allow pictures, images of sensory impressions, letting images and sounds, tactile sensations come into your consciousness and mindfully experiencing each one of them. And now we reflect that everything solid within the body and everything solid externally is the same element. There really is no me earth element or other earth element. It is all the same stuff. These bodies come from the earth and will return to the earth. There is nothing in this body that is not in the earth. We normally think of our form, our body, as being us, as being ourselves. But here we can recollect how everything of the earth element that is within us comes from outside and returns to the outside. We absorb nutrients from the world outside. We were absorbing nutrients from the world outside while we were still inside of our mother, from her bloodstream. All the plants and animals that she ate nourished us. Those foods are also not us either. And from that point on in our lives, every molecule that has contributed to the earth element in this body similarly has come from outside. We can visualize the flow of the earth element from fields, from soil, from plant matter into the body, and know that there is not a single molecule of solid matter within this body that is self-originated. It is all borrowed. Every molecule is borrowed from the earth, and we must give it back. In fact, we are giving it back in every moment of our lives. The earth element within us is returning to the outside world right now. We shed hairs, we shed skin cells. When we use the bathroom, our out-breath, we visualize all this in the practice solid matter is combusting within the body and being exhaled. Even our bones, which we may think of as the most solid and enduring part of the body, are also involved in a continuous process of dissolving and rebuilding. Even your bones are a process rather than a thing. So, the earth element within us is borrowed, and it is always returning back to the earth, flowing through us like a river. And as we recollect the earth element flowing in this way, we can reflect, this is not me. This is not mine. I am not this. There is not even any question of letting go. The earth element never was us. It never was ours. We never were holding on to it, because how can we cling to something that is flowing? The earth element provides the paradigm now for the remaining physical elements, which are all treated in the same way. Recollecting the element within us, recollecting the element outside of us, and reflecting that everything that is quote-unquote us is really just borrowed from the outside world and constantly returning to it. And finally noting, as we contemplate the element flowing through us, that it is not me, it is not mine, and I am not this. Water. Now we can call to mind the water element within the body, that which is liquid, starting with those manifestations that we can directly experience. We feel the saliva in the mouth, the pulse of the blood, perhaps sweat, the feeling of moisture in the out-breath. And then we can move on to those things that we can only experience more imaginatively. The synovial fluid in the joints, the cerebrospinal fluid, and all the liquid that permeates and surrounds every cell of the body. Even though you cannot experience them directly, you can know that they are there. Then we contemplate the water element outside of ourselves, calling to mind the oceans, the rivers, the brooks and streams, the water that permeates the soil, the rain, the clouds, the water inside the plants and animals. We see, hear, and feel these things as we recall our experience of them. And then we recognize that all of the water within this body, which we think of as us, as ours, as ourself, is in reality only borrowed for a little while. It is borrowed from the outside world, and that it is quite literally flowing through us. We do not own it. There is only one water element. There is no me water, and there is no other water. And so we reflect, this is not me. This is not mine. And I am not this. Fire. The Buddha defined the fire element as that by which one is warmed, ages, and is ultimately consumed, and that by which what is eaten gets completely digested. In other words, the fire element within us is metabolism. It is our energy. So, sitting in meditation, we can experience the heat of the body, feeling the cooler air as we inhale contrast with the warmth of the air as it leaves our body, feeling the heart pumping and calling into mind the myriad chemical combustions taking place at the cellular level, sparks of electricity in the muscles, the nerves, and the brain, and knowing that all of this energy is simply borrowed from the fire element outside of us. The fire element outside is the raw physical energy in the universe, from nuclear fusion in the sun to the warmth of a cup of coffee. From the molten core of our planet to the chemical energy stored in our food as fat, sugars, and proteins. We feed the body by taking in the sun's energy stored in plants and flesh. We warm ourselves in the rays of the sun, either directly or through burning fossil fuels that grew in the sunlight of ages past. And we must keep replenishing the body's fuel because the fire element is forever leaving us, radiating from our skin, wafting away from our exhaled air, lost in the warmth through the tops of our head. And so the fire element, like earth and water, simply flows through us, unstoppable. We observe and reflect on this, and as we observe the energy within the body, we can be aware that it is actually only borrowed, and that the energy is actually like another kind of a river of energy passing through this form, that it is really not ours at all. This is not me. This is not mine, and I am not this. Air. As soon as we call to mind the air element within the body, the air in our lungs, even the gases dissolved in our bloodstream, we are immediately aware of breathing, aware that the air is flowing rhythmically in and out of the body. So almost simultaneously, we recall the air element outside of us, the air surrounding us, touching the skin in this very moment, the winds, the breezes. We are taking in and giving out this element right now. Right now, the air element is entering and leaving the body. Right now, air is entering. Oxygen is dissolving into the bloodstream, being taken to cells to provide energy. Carbon dioxide is being released. Where is the boundary between inner air and outer air? You see, there is only one air element. And what's within us is simply borrowed for a few moments. We cannot hold to the air element any more than we can hold on to any of the other elements. In fact, we can only live by letting go, never by holding on. To hold on is to die. And so we reflect that the air element, like the other physical elements, is not me, is not mine, and I am not this. Space. Space is a strange and different element. It is just there. We cannot see it. We cannot touch it. We cannot say how far it extends. We cannot even say what, if anything, it is made of. So first of all, as we are sitting with our eyes closed in meditation, we can feel any sharp division between me space and not me space. Notice that without the optical delusion of the eyes, there is no delineation between inner and outer. The body loses its sense of having fixed boundaries. The hands no longer have 5 fingers. They have just become a mass of interwoven sensations, tingling, warmth, pressure. The whole body becomes a fuzzy ball of energy. Any sounds that you hear, are those sounds inside of me or outside of me? The sound waves are happening in the air outside, but all hearing takes place in the brain, which is inside. You see, the assumptions begin to fall apart. Even when I am sitting absolutely still, I am moving. The planet is spinning on its axis, as well as revolving around the sun. The whole galaxy is swinging around the core, and the galaxy itself is rushing away from every other galaxy at an incomprehensible velocity. So, although I think there is a me space, I am never actually in the same space for 2 consecutive moments. Space is not really divided into me space and not me space. It is all one space, and it flows through us. Space is only borrowed, and we cannot own it. Consciousness. Somehow in the evolution of the material universe, life has arisen. And in the evolution of life, consciousness has come into being. Perhaps we could say that consciousness is all the other elements knowing themselves. The Buddha introduces the element of consciousness in this way. And then there remains only consciousness, bright and pure. We have started to realize at this stage of the practice that there is nothing we can grasp a hold of. And so our mind now turns its attention to itself, the grasper. In this stage of the practice, we notice and reflect upon the way in which sensations, thoughts, images, emotions, and habitual patterns come into being, persist for a while, and then vanish into emptiness. None of them is permanent, and all are simply passing through us in the same way that the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and space are flowing through our physical form. These elements of consciousness are not intrinsic to us, are not a fixed part of us, and are not us. Just as there is nothing we can grasp, there is no one ultimately to do any grasping. When feelings of fear or discomfort arise in the practice, as they sometimes do, we treat them in just this way, experiencing the feelings in a non-attached way, surrounding them with mindfulness and loving kindness, and realizing that they are ultimately not who we are, not mine. I am not this. Having explained that the contents of consciousness, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, arise and pass and cannot be clung to, there remains, in the words of the sutra, only equanimity, purified and bright, malleable, wieldly, and radiant. This is the equanimity that comes from letting go, from ceasing to identify with our experience. It is the equanimity that comes from not getting caught up in our inner dramas, from not reacting to unpleasant feelings with aversion, and by not responding to pleasant feelings with grasping. It is the equanimity of acceptance. So with the question, what are we? What arises is a sense that we are the universe become aware of itself, that we are nothing more than conscious, living energy, that the mind is inherently pure, luminous, wise, and loving, that we are beginning to know our intrinsic nature. There is a sense of curiosity, wonder, openness. The world is more alive. I am less attached to this physical form, and my sense of identification has expanded outward. Everything that has ever passed through my body, the solid matter, the air, the water, the energy is now out there in the form of fields, clouds, forests, flowers, and soil, and trees. In a way, those things are all me. And because this very body is made of the same things, I am them. I am no longer separate, small, different. I am an intimate part of the vast cycle of the elements. To live is to let go, and in order to live fully, we must learn to let go fully and embrace the flow that is the universe, to embrace the flow that is us.
Let's just take a moment to embody these teachings. And we have a special presentation now. I will turn it over to Rochelle and Matt.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. And some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. And some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. When I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
In the true spirit of Dana, the Buddhist practice of generosity, temple services are given freely. In the same way, if you choose to give, please give with a generous heart, meaning not in return for anything that you've received here, but so that others who may seek refuge may find it here in this temple. Dana boxes are located at the back of the meditation hall. Thank you to all of our volunteers and to our TBC ambassadors, those who have committed to regular monthly electronic donations. It's not about the amount, it's just that those monthly donations help us to set a budget here at TBC. If you'd like to become an ambassador, there's little cards in the back of the seats in front of you with a QR code. You can just scan that, or you can go to TBC website and click on the Love Offering button there. Thank you to Victor for today's Dharma talk. And thank you very much to Rochelle and Matt for your wonderful music. And let us prepare now to close our service with the Bodhicitta dedication. We will recite this one time, And then I believe we have a few brief announcements. So the Bodhicitta dedication, one time together. May the pure, brilliant sun of Bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. And with our hands together in front of our hearts, let us go forth from this place, entering each moment in innocence, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. And as we open our hands, open our eyes, shine our light into the world, namaste.
Thank you, Dave, so much. Thank you, everyone. Just a few quick announcements. Don't forget, we have delicious crumble cookies. Thank you, Carrie. I think she's here somewhere. Oh, there you are. And downstairs, when you go downstairs, be sure to say hi and make a friend. Don't be shy. And also our post-service discussion groups after each service. Our first one meets just down the hall to the left in the Heritage Room, an opportunity to come together and discuss the Dharma talk from the day and how it applies to your life. Also, we have a full moon celebration coming up, Thursday, May 4th, so it's coming up pretty quick, so it's kind of short notice, but sometimes that's how these things happen, somewhat spontaneously. This celebration, where we're going to be doing dances of universal peace, we'll be creating a flower mandala, there will be chanting, and this is all going to take place, are you ready? Outdoors. We're going to do this at Westwood Park, which is actually just right over the hill and down at the bottom. It's at the intersection of State Line and 47th Street. So it's literally about 5 minutes from here. So that's Thursday, May 4th from 6:30 to 8:30. I hope you can join us. Please bring a lawn chair or something to sit on and maybe some flowers for our mandala. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and some of our volunteer opportunities out front on the counter there. And then also we have our 4-day silent meditation retreat coming up May 16th through the 20th. And you can attend either as a resident, which means you spend the night there with us for 4 days at the retreat center. You can also be a commuter. So some folks, you might be a caretaker. You can come in the morning and go home at night. Or you can also attend virtually. And our theme for the retreat is the contemporary contemplative, exploring a new monasticism. And so that's coming up. You can register online. Don't forget, while you're online, to stop by our brand new, thank you so much, Liz. I think she's watching from home this morning from our PJ Sangha. And so she built a little store for us. So if there are things that you would like that have the TBC logo or something like that, please stop by and do that. I will leave this up here on the board for you to take advantage of all the wonderful different opportunities to connect with Sangha, to build community, to deepen your practice, and also to build knowledge, which, by the way, our lending library is right over here. For those of you that might be new, please stop by and visit the lending library, and if there's a Dharma book in there that speaks to you, by all means, the two of you go home together, and when you're done, those of you that have Dharma books at home, bring them on up here. And then finally, today is our, did I have a slide for that? No, I didn't. Today is our tree giveaway. So there are five or six different kinds of trees out there, all of them indigenous to this area. Someone said that the Kentucky coffee tree makes coffee for you in the morning, so that's a pretty cool tree to have. So by all means, please go and do that. We are so happy that Temple Buddhist Center can help promote environmental activities and a sustainable consciousness. We are asking 1 tree per family, but if you absolutely have to have 2, if there's 1 or 2 kinds you want, that's okay too, but we want to make sure we have enough for everybody. Thank you, friends, as you go into your day. Peace, blessings, and tree hugs.